Our first person who is pitching is Sammy Niehaus, and her pitch is building our own maker lab. I don't know what I'm doing with this. How do I play this?
Oh, that light is bright. Melody was talking about Mean Girls, and I kept thinking about the pitching, the singing movie where the girl like projectile vomits on stage. So hopefully that doesn't happen. So I'm going to take you back 20 years to 1997. I was in 4th grade, and the average cost of gas was $1.22. It was $4.50 to see a movie in the theater. Madeleine Albright became the first female Secretary of State in U.S. history. Microsoft was the world's most valued company, and Dolly the sheep was introduced to the world for the first time. When I was in school, we did a lot of worksheets, rote memorization. Steve Jobs had just returned back to Apple to continue working. Fast forward, it's now 2017. Our students have smartphones, portable computers, electric cars, and jobs that weren't created 20 years ago. New jobs are being created every day. In 20 years, 2037, my current 4th grade students will be adults living in an even more technologically advanced world, with jobs that don't even exist today. So how do we prepare them for a future that awesome? I teach 4th grade at East Jackson Elementary. It's a rural area, literally on the eastern side of Jackson County. Recently, our school merged our K-3 buildings and our 4-6 building into one K-6 building to save money. In the last year, our district has dropped about 100 students in enrollment. It doesn't sound like a lot, but for our district, that's 10%. As we move forward, we have to kind of think, how are we going to bring kids to East Jackson, but more importantly, how are we going to keep them there? I have an idea for a start. I think we need to bring a makerspace/learning lab to our school. All students, K through 6, should be able to access the things that are going to help them prepare for a world that we can't even imagine what it's going to look like in 20 years. At East Jackson, 76% of our students receive free or reduced lunch. 67% of our students in our 500 student building are considered at risk because they're either at least a grade level behind academically or their home lives don't help them be not at risk. 20% of our students' population receive special education services. You would consider our building an at-risk building. Recently, I watched a TED Talk that kind of stuck with me, and it's been sticking in my head, and what I took from that TED Talk was that at-risk students shouldn't be seen as at risk. They should be seen and viewed as at promise. My students who are at risk, they have more resilience and grit than most of the adults in this classroom. They live with people who are not their parents. They live in houses that are not clean. Most of their parents don't work, but they show up every day to school. They try. When I was talking to my students about what I should include in my pitch, they said, make sure they know that even though we're bad kids, we try. And it made me laugh, but it broke my heart at the same time because I said, you're not bad kids. But one of my students said, please put that in there, please put that in there. And so they really want you to know that they show up every day and they do try. And not only do they try, but they do a pretty good job. They love to share what they're doing. We share on Twitter, we share in our class blog, we share on our class website. We're always adding things to our website and our blogs and our Twitter so that we can share what we're learning in our classroom, but also so we can see what other people are learning in theirs. And then we can connect, we can collaborate with each other and see how it's similar, how it's different, what we can do. And I think that if we brought a Makerspace Learning Lab to our school, they'd be able to share that even further. They'd be able to see what other students are doing who have the same things or who don't have the same opportunities, and they can share what they're doing so that those students might have different opportunities. Our 6th grade students recently had an opportunity to borrow Makerspace opportunities from our ISD. I talked to a few 6th grade students. One 6th grade girl says, Makerspace helps you think like an architect or an engineer. And I never used to like that kind of stuff before. Imagine how cool that would be for her to be able to be an engineer. We need to promote these girls, these things for these girls, so that they know that there's more to life. A sixth grade boy, he says it helps keep your brain active and engaged. These are students talking about makerspace and how we can bring that into our classroom. So I just would like for you to really think about how we can make a positive impact in our students. My students are willing to share, they're willing to learn, and I think that this would be a great opportunity for East Jackson Elementary. Thank you.
She figured it out. Our next presenter is Chessie Ojens. Oh, duh, sorry. All right. Questions? Sammy, you have to come back up. Yeah. We just got so excited. I haven't even been drinking. Yeah.
Sorry.
Just raise your hand if you want to ask a question. We want 4. We're not moving on until you ask 4.
Somebody ask questions.
What would you like in your makerspace?
We would love, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. We would love to have things like a makey and little bits, Ozbots, Dash and Dots, a green screen, so we can do green screen productions with our iPads. Maybe even a 3D printing lab is an option, considering funding. The opportunity for cardboard challenges, things to really get the kids moving and their brains engaged.
So why not like a reading program or something that's going to make their math instruction really robust? How come a makerspace?
For today's society, I really think that kids need to be engaged in their learning. And when they have these opportunities for the Makerspace Learning Lab, they're doing the math, they're doing the literacy, they're doing the speaking, they're doing the listening, they're collaborating with each other, and it's all kind of tied together, and we can bring it in, and it's kind of a unique way for them to learn all of those things all in one.
How would you adapt it to K2 or K1 so they would have things to do when they went in?
Yeah, I think that K1, K2, K3, they can all use all of the things that are in the Makerspace Learning Lab. It would just take some training and some time for the teachers to come in and get familiar, and the teachers to be comfortable with the idea of just letting the students try. And that's basically what it comes down to.
Is this going to be a place where teachers bring their students, a class? How does it work in the school?
So we have 2 open classrooms at this time in our building, and so we have pitched the idea to the principal to have one of those classrooms become the learning lab, and that it could be checked out throughout the day so that all students would be able to access it at certain times.
Thank you, Sammy. The 2017 Idea Slam winner is
Sammy Niehaus, building our own maker lab. Again, congratulations to all the pitchies tonight. Let's support all the pitchies. Congratulations, Sammy. Have a great night, have a great conference. We'll be around for a little while if you're going to hang out. Thank you for coming.